Who's going to win the NBA MVP in 2020? If you think it's Giannis, type G. If you think it's LeBron, type L. I want to get 250 plus comments on this video. 2 weeks ago, Giannis had the big lead. A couple of big wins for LeBron. He's creeping in. So type G for Giannis, type L for LeBron. Now, let's get into today's NBA rumors and news. Let's get to the Brooklyn Nets and talk about the drama, some of the fallout of Kenny Atkinson, quote-unquote, parting ways with the Brooklyn Nets. We all know what that means. But Shams Charania of The Athletic says that the two stars, of course, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, simply did not connect with Kenny Atkinson. Durant recently contested the culture and the team habits in a team meeting, called out some of the players apparently, and seemingly did not agree with some of the way Kenny Atkinson and this coaching staff was running things. So no surprise, franchise decides to opt with the players over the coach, despite in NBA circles, you guys see a lot of the Twitter stuff after the fallout of Atkinson and the Nets parting ways. A lot of people coming to Kenny Atkinson's defense. Now, DeAndre Jordan, another player who signed with Brooklyn this year, he shot this down a little bit. He said, yeah, I'm close to Kyrie, but Wilson Chandler is a new player. Garrett Temple's a new player. We're all new players. So if you're going to say new players, put it on all 8 of the new players. I think whatever you're saying and whatever the reports are BS. That's DeAndre Jordan weighing in. We see this all the time, right? When a coach gets fired, when a player gets cut, and there's some drama around it, you kind of get conflicting stuff coming out there. But just me knowing Kyrie Irving's personality and Kevin Durant's, their history on the way they do things, especially Kyrie, this shouldn't be a huge surprise. Kyrie, his last 3 stops now, he's had issues. Him and LeBron started to not get along in Cleveland. Him in Boston, it did not go well. He told the Celtics, the fan base before the season, he wanted to re-sign long-term by the middle of the year. Boston was ready to get him out of there because he was such a head case. And Kevin Durant, the way he left OKC to go to Golden State, we know his whole spiel the last several years. He's kind of gone from the pretty good boy to the villain of the NBA. So it certainly does seem like they spearheaded this. Now, Shams did clarify that this was not, they didn't ask for Atkinson's job, but then again, they're the 2 superstars. If they want Atkinson out, that's what they're going to get. And he was starting to build a good thing in Brooklyn, Kenny Atkinson. Inherited a terrible situation when Brooklyn had no assets after the Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett trade from several years ago. Slowly built this thing, got this team into the playoffs last year. Yeah, 28-34 isn't good this year, but KD hadn't played all season with the Achilles tear. Kyrie Irving has only played in 20 games this year, and they're still in the 7th seed in the East. I just think it would have been a little fair if he could have coached KD and Kyrie Irving with a fully healthy team next season, knowing full well this year wasn't going to be the best of the Brooklyn Nets. Now, should Brooklyn have parted with Kenny Atkinson? Type Y for yes, type N for no. You know, they're all saying the right things, the president, all that stuff, saying it's mutual. They fired him. That's what happened. Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving didn't like the direction things were going. They want someone else, so they opted with the superstars, and that's typically how that goes. So type Y for yes, type N for no. This will be the pinned comment, so scroll on down, answer this question. Okay, this is a quote from Kevin Durant on Kenny Atkinson after he decided to sign with the Brooklyn Nets last year, saying, he's a big reason why I chose Brooklyn. I was doing a lot of YouTube research on Kenny Atkinson and watching interviews to see how he talked after games and stuff. I really liked his approach to his craft as a coach, and that's what drew me in pretty quickly. Now, a couple of things to unfold here. One, Kevin Durant, big YouTube guy. I know you're watching, KD, so feel free to comment down in the comment section. 2, more importantly, all jokes aside, conflicting reports or conflicting information, right? He chooses the Nets largely because of Atkinson. 6 months later, despite never playing a single game under him, doesn't like the culture he's building. That just, I don't want to rip KD for that, but it's a little disingenuous, right? Like, he hasn't even played for this head coach yet. He wants him out of there. This was a lost year. Durant wasn't going to play this year. What did you expect? This to be a 50-win team and compete for the NBA Finals without you? Wasn't really going to happen. But we move forward. These are some of the names being thrown out there for the Brooklyn Nets. Mark Jackson and Van Gundy, a couple of ESPN analysts who have coached in the NBA. Of course, Jackson with the Warriors a few years ago before that dynasty took off. And then Jeff Van Gundy with the Rockets back in the day. Tyronn Lue, the Clippers assistant coach. he continues to get brought up. That's who Kyrie Irving wants, played under him with Cleveland, won a championship with him, so that makes some sense. Jacque Vaughn, who's the interim head coach for Brooklyn, if he does well enough, maybe he could get the job. And then Becky Hammon. I'm throwing this one out there. I actually haven't seen this name thrown out a lot. I think she deserves an opportunity. What do all these other coaches have in common? They're retreads. They've had their chance. I think Becky Hammon's worked under one of the best coaches in NBA history in Greg Popovich. She's highly thought of. I think she deserves an opportunity, and why not with the Brooklyn Nets? Who will be the next head coach of the Nets? Go ahead and let me know. Those are some names I threw out there and that have been linked to Brooklyn in the early process since firing Kenny Atkinson. Parting ways, let's make that clear. If there's another name, go ahead and type it down below. But if it's one of those names, you can still comment it too. I would love for it to be Becky Hammon. Don't think it'll happen, unfortunately. All right, today's show and something that should happen is you should get signed up with BetDSI. Chatsports.com/bet. It's the internet's #1 sportsbook. They are our sports betting partner. Use that promo code NBA120. The Nets aren't going to win the NBA title this year. Maybe they'll be in the mix next year when Durant comes back. But these are the top 5 order. Obviously, the Lakers have jumped up after their big weekend. They're the betting odds favorites right now. Milwaukee at +3, 230. The Clippers at +330. Celtics, Rockets a little further back. Those top 3 seem to have separated themselves from the rest of the pack. Again, you can bet on all this stuff at BetDSI, chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code NBA120. Now, there's also some things coming out that this could be a wild offseason in terms of NBA coaching carousel. Zach Lowe said on his podcast, covers the NBA for ESPN, there could be up to 13 openings. Now, I think that's quite a bit, but you already got 2 with the Knicks and the Nets. I think there's some other opportunities. I think there's a decent chance you could be approaching 10 new head coaches in the NBA this next season. These are 5 other teams I think make some sense. Jim Boylan's been a disaster with the Chicago Bulls. I expect him to be out. Brett Brown in Philadelphia. The process hasn't worked. Unless they have a deep playoff run, I think that's a real possibility. Same with Mike D'Antoni in Houston. They've tried this thing for a while. If they're an early exit in the playoffs, I think they could go in a different direction. Atlanta Hawks taking a step back in year 2 under Trae Young. You want to keep him long-term, maybe a new head coach is the first step. And then the Portland Trailblazers coming off a Western Conference Finals run, probably not going to make the playoffs this year. Terry Stotts has done a great job there, but it could be time for a new voice. And then there's some other jobs out there as well that could become open. All right, guys, I want you to get subscribed to the channel, youtube.com/chatsportstv. We're plugging out NBA news, rumors, all kinds of stuff, multiple videos a week. We want to do videos every day. I'm trying to ask the bosses. They're like, need more subscribers. So get enough subscribers on this video and the upcoming videos, maybe we'll ramp up our coverage. You know we'll ramp it up for the NBA draft and NBA free agency. Go ahead and hit that big red button. Links down below, youtube.com/chatsportstv. All right, let's get into some other items here. Jusuf Nurkic could be returning soon. This is not a typo, okay? This is not a typo. He is set to practice with the Warriors G League squad. Why? Portland doesn't have a G League team. I don't know why. You would think all 30 teams would have one, but they are one of 2 teams who do not. So Warriors, they're just running charity down there. Hey, come practice with us. Come do your thing over here. So he's doing that, and the Blazers are like, yeah, that sounds pretty good. Could return as soon as Sunday against the Houston Rockets. The rehab, it's gone slower than expected, has not played since last March with that fractured tibia and fibula, gruesome injury from last year. These are the numbers he was putting up last year. He was starting to turn a corner, kind of becoming a fringe all-star type of player. 15.5 points, over 10 rebounds, 3.2 assists, shooting great from the field at 51%. And then Portland surprised all of us when they traded for Hassan Whiteside in the offseason. He's been great. 16 points, 14 boards. He's blocking over 3 shots per game, 62% from the field. So they did not expect him to be that good. They just needed someone to bridge the gap until Nurkic came back. Well, he's done that and then some for Portland. So the question moving forward is Portland tries to battle for the 8 seed in the Western Conference. Who should start? Should it be Nurkic? Should it be Whiteside? If you think it's Jusuf Nurkic, type J. I think it's Hassan Whiteside, type H. Obviously, at first, I'm sure Nurkic will come off the bench, ease his minutes back up. But once fully healthy, let me know. Type J for Jusuf Nurkic, type H for Hassan Whiteside. Now, the battle for the 8 seed is a big talking point in the West because the top 7 spots are locked in. Just not in the order, obviously, but the top 7 are in. but none of those teams are going to fall out of the playoffs. But there's 5-6 teams battling for that final spot. Now, Memphis has a pretty good lead as of now. We've got about 18, 20 games left. They are 4 games up on the Pelicans and the Kings. Pelicans have the tiebreaker over Sacramento as we sit right now. Portland 4.5 games back as they hope to get Nurkic back. Maybe he can give them a late season push. And then San Antonio, they've made the playoffs, I believe, 22 years in a row. That streak is on the line if they don't make a late push this season. But the battle for the 8th seed is well documented. Lots of teams battling of it. Ja Morant and the Grizzlies have done a great job. That would be a great story if he could lead them to the playoffs in his rookie season. What do you guys think? Who will get the number 8 seed in the Western Conference? I still think it's Memphis. I think 4 games with 20 to go, that's a pretty sizable lead. Obviously, it's pretty jam-packed down there, but I think Memphis will hold things off and that they will get into the playoffs. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments section. The MVP race is also heating up as LeBron James is making a late season push, boys. And girls, of course. Not just one gender watching the show. LeBron outdueled Giannis over the weekend, outdueled Kawhi over the weekend, played fantastic in 2 huge Lakers wins. And I told you guys, I mentioned BetDSI earlier, we'll mention him again. I told you guys to get in on that plus 900 MVP odds for LeBron about 10 days ago because he is starting to make this a competition. Giannis, of course, still the favorite, but LeBron's closing that gap. Plus, Giannis has missed a couple of games with a sore knee, could miss a few more. If LeBron continues to ball out and the Lakers win the West, he's going to have a realistic chance of winning the MVP race. Numbers are pretty close across the board. LeBron dishing out more assists, Giannis grabbing more rebounds. Points pretty comparable. Obviously, LeBron is the better three-point shooter. So, I'll ask you guys this question again. Who will win the MVP? Type G for Giannis, type L for LeBron. I'm still going to go Giannis, but it's really close now. I think LeBron is closing that gap. There's plenty of time for him to get there. He is coming like a freight train, and I think he wants to get that 5th MVP trophy. Now, if you want to go bet on who's going to win the MVP, got to do it at BetDSI. I told you guys before, chatsports.com/bet. That'll get you to the sign-up page. Use that promo code NBA120 unless you don't want free money. Put down $100, give you $120 for free. That is math, folks. And here are the odds for MVP right now. 10 days ago, guys, LeBron, he was like minus 900. Now he's minus 200. Very, very close. Giannis still the slight favorite, but it's very close. Clearly a 2-man race at this point. No one else can get into the mix. Go ahead and take advantage of that at BetDSI. Chatsports.com/bet. Use our promo code NBA120. Now let's talk about the coronavirus. This thing is starting to get a little bit scary. I'm going to be honest. NBA and other sports leagues are starting to take precautions. You guys have probably seen the news. They're limiting media access in locker rooms. They're designating certain areas on where media members can talk to players. And there's a pretty decent possibility. I won't say 50-50. How about 25%? I'll put it around there if I had to guess. That games could be played in empty arenas very, very soon. That's coming from Adrian Wojnarowski. There was a teleconference call on Monday telling NBA teams that you need to prepare by the end of Tuesday to have a plan in place for this to happen, where fans aren't in the arena, only having access to necessary personnel. Here was the quote: "More and more teams are embracing for that possibility. They were told by the league to prepare for the possibility that was going to happen before the end of the regular season. League office is still a little more cautious, saying we're not there yet." So we're not there yet, but I think we're getting close. There's another teleconference set for Wednesday. Maybe we'll learn something soon about the next steps being taken by the NBA. How concerned are you? Rate on a scale of 1 to 10. I would put it at like a 7 or an 8. I'm pretty concerned. It's spreading. It seems like the containment at this point is not happening. I don't want to pretend to be a medical expert, but there is obviously reason to be concerned. I'm typing an 8 down below. Go ahead and rate your level of concern down in the comments section. Now, LeBron did say a few days ago, and I bet he'd like this quote back and would have looked into this a little bit more, saying, quote, "I play for the fans. That's what it's all about. If I show up to the arena and they ain't no fans there, I ain't playing." I don't want to say he was intentionally being insensitive, but I think safety is a little bit more important than playing in front of 20,000. Look, no one wants to play in an empty arena. I understand that, but this is certainly a serious issue. It's not going away. It's going to get worse before it gets better. NBA doing the smart thing, taking precautions. We'll keep you guys up to date as the coronavirus impact continues to unfold.